All right, fourth grade, another architecture challenge. Last time we did columns, this time we're doing the Taj Mahal. Now, we watched that video about the Taj Mahal, so you know that it is white. It was created out of marble, and we know that everything in the Taj Mahal is symmetrical except for those two tombs, because the son put the father in after the father had put his wife in there. So our drawing today is going to need to be very symmetrical. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, your paper, and a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, any kind of a straight edge will do. You could use like the side of a binder, anything straight. I've used like an edge of a folder before. If you have another pencil that's maybe not sharpened, that's a good straight edge. Anything just to draw straight lines. We're not going to be measuring. We're just going to draw straight lines. So the first thing we're going to draw in is the steps to our Taj Mahal. We're going to draw 3 steps in. I find that if you line your ruler up square with the edge of the paper, you'll draw nice straight lines. So 1, draw another little one. We're going to try to make these even. So it may be easier for you to come down, but line my ruler up with the edge of my paper and it's nice and straight. 2. And a 3rd line. So let's see where that would go here. Okay, I'm going to turn my paper to make it a little easier. Spread my fingers apart, push down. I've got those ends lined up. So now I've got my 3 steps put in. All right, now after our steps, we get to start on the building. So we're going to start by drawing a line across. Okay, we're going to draw a nice line across. And try to draw fairly light. I'm going to draw dark so that you can see my pencil lines, but try to draw light so that you can erase well. And in the middle, it may be easier if we fold our paper in half at this point. Line up these 2 corners, come straight down, out, and now we can kind of see. I'll fold my paper the other way too, just to keep it flat. Now we can see where that center point is. So when we're drawing, here's my middle, right on that fold line. And I know that is going to be like where the door peaks and where my building goes. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the lines. We're going to draw that wide building in the middle, and then 2 more on the side. And I'll put up a picture of the Taj Mahal so that you can see it when you're working, or you can just follow along with me and we will compare our final product to the one that we see online. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper because you never want to cross your hand over. I'm actually going to do this one upside down. I'm going to draw in my first building here and then 2 more narrow buildings. So 1, and 2. And I want these 2 side buildings to be about the same size. So just take your best guess. I'm not looking for perfection. I never am, especially on a project like this where we're working so hard. Okay, now on the other side, we're going to do the same thing where we found our middle point, and we are going to make the middle building about the same width apart. 1, and then 2 more about the same size as this. So you could measure it with your fingers if you want. It's about 2 fingers for me. 2 fingers here, 2 fingers here. I'm going to make 1 more line going straight up and down. Okay. Looking good. Now, the center part, we need to build it up taller. So we're going to actually continue this line up a little bit. And we're going to draw 2 more lines across. So I'm going to turn my paper and I'm going to go ahead and add those 2 lines. Now I want to line up my ruler to make sure that I'm drawing a straight line. So 1 and 2. Now notice that sometimes my lines don't line up. That's okay. I can just go back in and extend them. Or if I overshoot the line, I draw it too long, I can erase it. Now this little building here, these little guys on the side and the center one have what's called an onion dome. Okay, so these are little domes coming off, and they don't come all the way to the edge. So we can actually extend this line over. I use my ruler for that because I'm already not drawing a straight line. Now you know why I tell you to use a straight edge. Erase my wonky line and extend this little guy up. Erase the extra. Okay, so we're building it up, right? We're getting there. Taj Mahal is a thing of beauty, one of the 7 wonders of the world, National Heritage Site, a beautiful example of architecture. Okay, now in the middle here, we want to build that onion dome. So the onion dome is rounded, but with a little point at the top. So depending on how you will prefer to draw it, you could draw a half circle and then go ahead and add that point up to our fold line. That will work. Or if you're really comfortable, you could just go ahead and draw in that sort of teardrop shape. I'm going to fix mine because it wasn't quite symmetrical. Remember, symmetry is the same on both sides, mirror image. Okay, and then down here, this is just like a regular dome. So I'm going to overlap it a little, make it look like it's a little overlapped behind my onion dome. And now on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. And I want it to be about the same size. So I'm going to just draw a really light guideline here so that I know where to go. And I made it a little bit wider. Erase my guidelines. And then there's a little piece that sticks out of the top. Okay, now there's also a little window here. 1 and 2. Make that a little bit wide. Not quite round enough. All right, so we are really in great shape here. We've got our Taj Mahal. And now we just need to add our windows. Now the windows are based off of mosque design, and so they actually come to a point just like this onion dome, but they follow this kind of a design. So they come out and down, and then remember, symmetrical on the other side. Out, out and down. If you really want to get this right and have these be perfect, what you can do is fold your paper like this and hold this side up to the window, and then you will be able to see your pencil line through and you can trace it. I'm not too concerned. I feel like I'm getting pretty close. I do want to make the sides of the door straight though. So I'm going to come in with my ruler and just straighten those out. Around that curve. Keep making these little tweaks just to make sure that I'm getting everything in. There's a lot of detail in this building. All right, so we've got our door in, and there is a little line that comes across here on that door. It comes this way though, instead of the other way. Now for our side windows, we can go ahead and put those in. They sort of have that same shape. I'm actually going to draw a little line here. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. 1 and 2. Okay, so I know that I want this to come up and then down to my straight line. This is going to be straight across, up and down. Erase those pencil lines. Okay. Now I'm going to grab my ruler, come in across. I want all of my pieces to be the same size. So I'm just putting in some little guidelines here. where I want my windows to top. Okay, so you can see I've got the top lines, I've got the bottom lines, and then I've got those top lines as well. Oh, I forgot it here. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing I did here, where I'm going to put in those rough little lines on the side. That one wasn't straight. Here we go. Straight here, and here, and here, and here. Okay, so now I've got the side lines in. I'm going to come in, bring them up to that point, bring them down. Come in, bring them up to that point, bring them down. And then erase all of my guidelines. Same thing over here. Come in, up to the top, up to the top, and then same thing here, come up. And then just erase those extra guidelines. This one's not really rounded enough. Okay. All right, this is looking awesome. So the last thing we have to do are those two tall towers on the side. Now these come up fairly tall. They're not quite as tall as the onion dome, but they're pretty tall. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in, and they get wider as they go down. So I'm going to just kind of make it go a little wider. Like that. I'm going to try to make the other side do the same. Leaving about the same amount of space in between here and here. And then drawing the other side to be about the same. Alright, I'm going to put the top on. Line up my ruler with the side of my paper here. See if I line it up nice and square. Then I can see where the top is and the top. I have some extra here I need to erase. Okay, so this actually has 3 tiers to it as well. So I'm going to divide it into thirds. And then I will put that top on it. So there's like a little bar that's a little wider than the Taj Mahal. I'm lining that ruler up to keep it nice and straight. I want it to come over the edge. I'm going to do it again. Come on up here and do one more. Come off my paper. Doing this on both sides. So you can see how I'm putting in those layers, and it looks like I messed up here. The really cool thing about this is that your eye will usually catch when you mess up. You'll be like, oh, that looks wider. It still looks wider. What am I missing? Oh, it should be lower. And then you should be here. That would explain it. I had them in the wrong spot to begin with. Okay. Now we have one more to come up here, about the same distance. We're going to put that line up my ruler, put that line here and here, scoot it up a little bit, and do it again. 1 and 2. All right. So now we just want to round these out a little. Put a little C shape on them. They don't need to be huge. See a little C here, a little C here. You just want them to look like a little bump. and then we'll erase the pencil lines around it. And here, we're going to erase this top now because we're going to put another flourish up there. Okay, erase all my extra little lines. It's looking good, right? Put that C, that word C. I'm going to erase the guidelines around it. I'm going to erase this little bit up above that top one. Then I'm going to erase these diagonal lines inside of the bars that go across. Because these are just columns, like we did before. All right, now for the top of this, there's like a little, almost like a little onion dome here too. So we'll go ahead and add that. Round, and then up to a point. All right, and then there's some little lines in this one. We want to add those, or we can just wait and do a Sharpie. That may work. It's sort of messy right now. So this one actually kind of comes like this, and to actually make it look a little bit more oniony, it has the ridges. All right, my friends, that is it. That was a big day. All right. Next week we will talk about how we're going to finish this, and because the Taj Mahal is white, it will not be as brutal as this week was. This was a lot of drawing and a lot of measuring. If you have any trouble with this, send me a message in Schoology or bring your work on Friday and we'll talk about it. All right, have a great week. See you.